Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Good morning. As I choke. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon Croucher, and I am blessed to be able to sit next to the one, the only Queen of South Africa, Miss Ilse. How are you doing, sweetheart? How has your weekend been? What have you been up to? What did you get into?
I didn't get into trouble, if that's what you want to know.
Well, that was not what I was expecting.
That's not been a very productive weekend, then.
Or is it the opposite?
My team won.
Your team won. Oh, what does that mean?
Steelers won last night. You
So
want to
let's
know
take-
how much? I do not know. I just know that they've got the most points. It says 27-19.
Okay,
And
so
they-
the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Denver Broncos, which is a good win. It was in Pittsburgh. I'll give you your win. That means I owe you a T-shirt. I really do. I got to buy Ilse a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt. Don't worry, I have one in mind. Since she really doesn't know the Steelers logo, I might be buying her a Cleveland shirt that's stepping on the Steelers.
Let me
And
just
that
Google quickly.
She's like, I got this. But then my team did very well. I'm not mad at my loss. Good morning. Great new week to you as well, Miss C.K. Ford, Mr. Brett Gordon, Businesses Are People Too. And then we have up here at the top, Mr. Stuart Lone Wolf. Good morning. Another manic Monday. It's a manic Monday. But it was, my team did great. We played a very good game. I unfortunately, in the last couple plays of the game, the Los Angeles Chargers were able to, well, it was kind of funny. So in football, you want to run out the clock if you have the ball at the end. And the other team had a few really big plays, and they got to the 1 yard line, so right about to score. But if they score, the Browns get the ball back with plenty of time to get another touchdown, and we could win the game. So that we're out of timeouts, we're out of opportunities, and we don't have the ball, and they're at their 1 yard line. So all they're going to do is kick a field goal and win by 2, which 44 push-ups, I'd be all about that. I could do that in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, what the Browns did was kind of genius. So we're out of timeouts. The Chargers hand the ball off. The running back runs up. He gets hit, and he goes to fall down. And the Browns players hold him up and fall back into the end zone so he gets a touchdown, and we now get the ball back. Now, we gave up the lead and everything like that, but it doesn't matter because we get the ball back. We started moving the ball. Long story short, we didn't end up getting it in the end. My team lost by 5 points. 5 times 22 is
110, baby. I had to use my calculator.
And then because we have a 2-hour show, every 12 minutes I have to do at least 10 push-ups today, right? Now, I explained to Brett and Elsa I really will do it, but I'm going to drop down right here and do them, and you'll be able to tell by my face probably because I have not been working out the way I want lately. So it's going to be a workout for me, but it's going to be good. We're going to have a lot of fun. I owe Ilse a T-shirt now. I lost the bet, so I owe her a T-shirt, and I owe all of you guys a ton of push-ups today. And next week, the Browns have an even tougher game. So we have the Arizona Cardinals, and they are the only team left in all of the NFL that's still undefeated.
Okay.
So that means the Browns are playing a team that's playing really well right now, but we're playing in Cleveland. So because of that, I got faith. Like, my team's going to beat them. I'd be willing to place another bet. You don't get another T-shirt. Maybe you can bet me a hat or something this time.
Remember, the underdogs need to lose a couple of times before they can win. So you can't be an underdog if you win the whole time.
Well, you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Do you want to know why most people hate the Steelers?
Apparently, most of the supporters are arrogant, so I feel at home.
Never mind.
I'm not arrogant. I'm joking.
They won 6 Super Bowls, so they think they're the king of all, even though Tom Brady's won that many on his own. But, like, they are all by himself. He had no other players on the team. 44 push-ups per point. No, 22 push-ups per point. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. So that was why we did this, to bring attention for mental health awareness and to get everybody out and excited to not just get out there and do stuff, but to start working out. So Ilse, I'm going to drop down, do my first 10 right now. You set an alarm on your phone for 12 minutes, or Brett can, and then Brett brings himself in every 12 minutes, and I know that I have to do push-ups. And I'm going to drop down and do my first 10. Please tell us what you got into this weekend, and then I will tell you what I got into this weekend. Sound good?
Okay. Can I read food while you do push-ups? I'm going to read Ryan.
You have the show.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. So this morning's breakfast, Ryan from Beyond the Moving Picture Studios says, good morning, the lightheads. Luckily, we're not petrol heads. Recipe of the day, double whipped and garlic pressed buttery Yukon potatoes, saffron butter, white wine, seared scallops, drizzled duck, confit, and steamed asparagus.
Excuse me. Nothing. Those it's only 10. I did 10. I could do my 22 right now, but then we're going to throw off the math. I thought it'd be easier.
No.
So look at that. I already got a muscle. Look.
Mine's from doing washing this morning. I washed 2 loads, 2 baskets, 2 weeks worth of washing. And I know it's summer, but the weather has not played with the last couple of days. So it's been raining. So we had hoodies on and jackets. And so my arms and my legs, I got my workout this morning.
You've told me how you have to do your workout. So guys, I don't know if you know this, but Ilse has 6-pack abs. She has to go get in the water and then just to wash her clothes.
I didn't need to use my 6-pack.
She's got that, and then you turn around and the sharks are swimming around. That's how she dries her clothes. Is the sharks put it on their fins and go really fast and then come back and they're dry. It's salt water.
You have to use the animals in your life.
What was really interesting is when I saw the picture of the giraffe having all your clothes hanging down the back of its neck. So that way it's like a flagpole of underwear hanging off the back of a giraffe.
And what's nice is I can hang it on the giraffe's neck from the third story where I live. I don't have to walk all the way down because he is right here by my balcony.
True. Do you ever see the Flintstones? Do you
I
know that?
did.
So do you remember how Fred and Barney would actually, like, at the end of the day, slide down the dinosaur? So I picture you doing that to go to your car or get out of the house every day. It's like, I could go down the stairs. I could have my shark swim me there. Or down the giraffe.
On my way to the shop with my giraffe. I think someone must buy me a giraffe. A baby giraffe. I have space. Buy me a baby giraffe, please.
There we go. So buy you a baby giraffe. Now, did you set a timer for 12 minutes?
I thought you said Brett must. He says yes.
I got Brett in the back giving me a yes. Fabulous weekend of synchronicities. Thank you. With opportunities for my spiritual journey to grow and weaken and weeded the flower beds. I saw weeded and I'm like, no, I haven't done any weed. It's been 11 days. I've been doing very good at this sober October thing. It's very tough on me at times. I have realized why I smoked a lot of weed and why I need to get into my own house. And I literally laugh at this now, but I see where Brandon has to go to build his best self. And then Ilse is pulling cards for me this morning. She's like, all right, I pulled a card on you. This is what I got. And I'm like, son of a
beautiful message.
It hit me right between the eyes because the video I sent you will actually connect with it. And I sent her a video right before the show.
There's no such thing as coincidences. So I do what my heart says, and my heart just said, before the show, just pull Brandon a message and I used my wisdom oracle cards. They're beautiful. You must see, they're beautiful cards.
Thank you. So today is going to be a fun day. It's Mental Health Monday. We're going to dive into mental health a little bit. We have our wonderful Brett Gordon back from South Dakota. He was out there looking at castles and hotels, and he threw himself into hot water springs. He's gotten a little bit of tan because it was too hot for him. He's red now. He's been missing for a week, but we're glad to have him back. He's got a lot going on, and he's doing some amazing things. We have a busy week planned, don't we, Ilse?
We do. But I need to ask you a question. How's your mental health since starting the sober October? Because it's been a whole week now, or well, more than a week.
I'm going to be raw with this, okay? I have felt my body detoxing. I'm sweating like crazy all the time. The last few days, the bathroom has been a nightmare. Like my body just pushing things out, but I've been eating really clean. So I know that's part of it. I've been journaling every day. Today I asked myself the question, who am I? What's up, Nick? I asked myself the question, who am I? And I ended up writing a good at least 1,000 words about myself. And it was interesting. I recommend everybody write that question down and then turn everything off around you and just see what comes out, because I was surprised what came out of me. There was a lot there, and I saw where my mind switched to a negative, because I woke up this morning, and it was this morning and yesterday morning, I felt like there was something in my stomach, in my abdomen, that was just angry. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't usually get mad while driving, and like road rage was a thing in the past, but it's not for me anymore. I just take cruise control and go. But like, people were driving, people cut me off, and it was like, mother effer, and I was getting mad at little things I don't get mad at. So I knew I needed to reset. So I went and I made sure to meditate. I made sure to take some deep breaths, get back to Brandon, and it was essential for me. Brandon is looking more and more like Mr. Clean. Oh, that's awesome. I try. I literally, I feel like my mental health is getting stronger, and that's why I feel confident. That's why I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is for me, and that if anybody wanted to jump on, they're more than welcome to start doing the rest of October with me. We can keep each other accountable. Even if it's not marijuana, even if it's not alcohol, even if it's not coffee, even if it's not meat, you're able to do whatever you know you should do. And I'll help keep you accountable, and you can help keep me accountable, because I'll be honest, it gets tough. I wanted to smoke this week. I wanted to be able to, yesterday during the Browns game, I wanted to do what I usually do, which when the Browns do something huge, I celebrate, or when they do something dumb, I celebrate that. But I am doing a lot better. I owe Miss CK not just appreciation, but she takes what I write, and instead of telling me I'm wrong for anything, she literally turns around and tells me, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what you're doing right, and here's what I want you to help yourself with. It's not that you did this wrong. I want you to look deeper into this on yourself. Mm-hmm. And so it leads me to asking myself harder and harder questions, which I am winning sober October. Trust me, there have been times where I'm around people and I'm like, Like yesterday was tough. Browns games are tough. Usually you drink as a football fan, but that never fazed me. Dave Hernandez, I love the LOLs coming in, buddy. Good to see you. Happy Mental Health Monday. So my answer to that is, with everything going on, even with the bathroom, even with the sweating and not being able to control it, I literally am seeing myself stepping into a different realm. And then you write that, and I send you this video this morning. I'm loving who I'm becoming because I'm seeing that, I want to phrase this properly. I'm seeing that everybody has their own itinerary and their own life. And if they see somebody can give something to them, they're not afraid to be friends or anything from them and try to get something from them. And that's not negative. We don't do it intentionally, but people are selfish. I am selfish at times. And recently I've seen that I really do focus a lot on everybody else. And I put everybody else's needs before my own. And I've been really pushing it. And now I'm like, how do I don't want to isolate. That's why I come here. But I want to be able to break these barriers in myself and climb out of this bullshit depression. That's going to be the best way I say it. The bullshit depression that a lot of people go through. And I want to be able to be a standing light that changes my world, even if that's the only world it changes, because that's what it has to be.
And the thing is, your mind is so powerful that you do not need anything to help you with the depression, because you are focusing your mind and changing your mindset, and that will. I'm proud of you. That's all I can say is I am so proud of you, and of you, Sherry. I cannot talk with because we did this weekend as well. But that wasn't what I was going to give up for Sober October. I haven't had coffee, I haven't had meat, and I had very little cigarettes.
That's okay. You smoked a lot before, so to just quit turkey, you've cut it back a lot. You've really been working on it. By the end of October, if you're not smoking it, so you could do
I'm cutting down.
No smoked November? I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
No smoked November. Hey, that rhymes. But I have added things to Sober October. So I'm not a big water drinker, so I'm forcing myself to drink water, 2 liters a day. So I've been doing that. I've been forcing myself to hula hoop every day for no less than half an hour. And guys, you think it's just going like this? It's not.
What is it? What is it like? It's going like what? Like this?
Like I'm moving my booty. You just can't see it. So I've been doing that, and I've been just cleaning up my space, throwing out things that I don't use, which is a big thing for me because I'm a hoarder.
See, that's something that So do you want to see
a hoarder? But there's things that I don't need.
At least you're not a whore.
I almost said something ugly.
Were you going to say like you, Brandon? Because that would have made me laugh. I would have lost myself.
How do you know? No, I'm just kidding.
How do you know I'm not a whore in my spare time? If that's how you make your money, I'm not going to judge you. You do you. Jesus loved prostitutes, and I don't mean that like he was out there going like, "Hey, ladies."
Prostitutes, but I'm not a whore. But
and tax collectors.
I've actually got a song that is my anthem that I listen to on repeat constantly, and it's an in the moment song, and the song's name's Whore. Go listen to it. It's a metal song. Go listen to it.
Actually, do you remember like 2 weeks ago when I had everybody yelling at me what their songs were I should put in a playlist, and I was adding them, but I wasn't allowed to play any music here? A lot of people thought that was one of the funniest things ever because I have headphones on and there's music playing. I'm like, oh, this song rocks! And nobody can hear anything but me. So people were like calling.
Push ups.
All right. Here I go.
While Brandon does his 10 push-ups, let's let our viewers tell us what they are grateful for on this Monday. What happened in your weekend? Where did you make a difference in someone's life? Where did someone make a difference in your life? Share the love. 8, 7, 6. Oh, we're done. Sorry.
The 12 minutes is going to space it out just enough. I'm going to get my heart rate going, and this is going to be easy for me by the end. Dave Hernandez says, I'm here for you, bro, but failing on Sober October, laughing my ass off. Honestly, buddy, that's okay. You don't have to do Sober October. You could still smoke. You could still drink. Do you. But pick something that maybe you want to like get better at. Like maybe set an alarm. Wake up 20 minutes earlier just to give yourself 20 minutes. Cup of coffee, no cell phone, no anything. Just for you. You know? Other than that, you want to see what I got into this weekend?
Yes, please.
This
I'll
is going to
tell
be
you what I did.
You could start telling me.
Can I start telling you? So we had our thing for the production. I don't know if you guys saw all my photos. So there's more photos. They took a photo shoot in the premises or in the venue where we are doing the other podcast. And then our launch is on the 29th of October. We're having, we got 3 fashion designers, and then 2 artists, 1 African artist, and then Kyle that's gonna sing solo. He's gonna do a John Mayer tribute because he loves John Mayer and he sings so beautifully. And then we're gonna it's the place where we have it. It's Icos Palace, so it's for kings, African kings and queens. And it's a cigar bar, very, very Lani with or fancy. You don't know what Lani means. Fancy. Lani.
I'm like Lani.
Lani means fancy in Africa. Well, in South Africa, Lani, they usually call the white people Lanis because they think they fancy and better than everybody. Yes. So the colored people will say, "Hey, my Lani," which means to the white people, "Hey, you think you fancy?" so just some slang there for you.
I learned something today. I'm going to be able to call people that and they'll never know. Lani. Hey, my Lani.
Hey, Lani.
Hey, my Lani. Dave Hernandez says, I'm grateful for being alive and actually for my kids driving me crazy. I love how he phrased that because kids do drive like their parents insane. I learn a lot about myself from that. The fun thing is about that is when you see your kids driving you insane, realize it's payback for you being that to your parents. You know, it's usually you were that type of kid. Or just look at your significant other and be like, why were you this bad as a kid? Because I used to do that to my ex-wife. I'm like, these aren't my kids. These are your kids now. They weren't either of ours. They were foster kids. But like, these are not ours right now. So on Saturday, I got invited to a movie. I got invited to a dinner. I got invited to a different dinner. I got invited to a friend's house for a party. I got invited to a haunted house. Everybody wanted me to get out of the house, and I didn't want to. And my parents were one of the ones. My sister was one of the ones inviting me, and I just was like, I wouldn't dare say that, but maybe. I love it. Right? He's like, I kind of enjoy my life right now, so I really don't want her to kick me out.
I just said I'm grateful for being alive. Don't change it.
Right. Don't change anything, Brandon. So I just wanted to be alone. And my parents went out to dinner with friends. My sister went out to dinner with friends and her boyfriend. And I was home alone. I literally just was there. And I decided to try this new thing. Have you ever heard of diamond dots?
No.
All right, let me add this to the stream. And I'm going to make it full screen just because of it. So do you see this picture? This Van Gogh picture right here? It is. Now,
Starry Night.
See, no, Starry Night, exactly. See how it is Starry Night. See my pink socks? So
I do.
This, every single thing on here is a tiny gem. See, diamond dots. Ready?
Okay.
This is a video. Oh, if I can get it to play. Ready? Watch how this goes. Okay. Did you see how small those were?
Yes, yes. I've seen them before. You get them in small ones as well for the kids. Yeah.
Look at that. That's how small it is. Okay. Now I have the film on that one, but this is how tiny they are, Ilse. Okay.
Wow.
Right? Like so small. And I have to take them one at a time and I put them on here. And that's how you see how small those are. Each one of those like letters / numbers and that, they actually match the thing underneath. So you see where that like number 1 is, A10 upside down right there?
Yes.
That, I'm looking for that. And if you look up, there's that same color in that blue. And I have to find it all.
It's almost like paint by pitch or pitch. What? Paint by
picture
numbers.
by numbers. Yeah, paint by numbers, picture by numbers. So
Okay.
I have 38 different colors because I didn't realize I bought the expert intermediate gift like for myself.
Go, baby. Go.
So it's a lot of work, but here's the fun thing about it is you can see that I'm enjoying it and I'm taking my time, and it looks like, did he really do anything on it? You could see the brighter colors in certain areas. You could see where certain things. Oh, and there's my sign. That's my my astrological thing for the week. It hit me right between the eyes, so I had to bring it. But go big. I love that. Go big. LOL. Or God big. God is big. Thank you for that, Dave. God is big. But like, I literally had fun just being able to click and go or tap and go, but no sound. I didn't have any music. I was sitting out in the back patio and letting nature make all my noise for me. And it was just so calming that like, I didn't know why I woke up Sunday with this like anger in my stomach. And when I say anger, it was weird. And I think it was because go ahead.
It's not just you. I woke up exactly the same. I was in a mood yesterday. I was really in a mood.
Really?
Yes, I felt nauseous. I had a huge headache, and I don't even drink. A huge headache.
Thank you.
What did you hear, or what?
It was just your accent is so cute there.
I've got it.
Yeah, I mean, I know your ego, so let's just go there.
I need a big head to fit it in.
Yeah, like you go, no, it's your accent. I actually have people tell me like all the time, they're like, the accent is so beautiful by her. Like for real. I get like multiple guys a day that will send me a message, be like, she has the most beautiful accent. And I write back, you're a creep. And they literally, I love it because so many people are loving your accent, and then you're like, I had a huge headache, and it was like the U and the G got emphasized, and you don't usually hear that, so it's like I had a huge headache, and all I could picture is all I had was Donald Trump. It's huge. I got a huge one. I got a huge headache.
A huge headache like Brandon. No, even bigger. So then you must know it was a huge headache. So, and I don't drink aspirin because I've got an addictive personality. I'll rather sit with a headache than drink any medication. And I know it's just 2 aspirins, but when I decide that I have to take 2 pills, you know that my headache is very, very bad. And last night I just couldn't anymore. I even
really?
got yes, and I just felt off. But this morning I woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I love it. Would you be interested in doing a yoga session with our rhino guy that we had on in an interview back in the day? Well, what if he was able to bring a baby rhino that he just saved to one of the shows and be able to, it would be on video, but we could do a little bit of yoga with a baby rhino. Would you be interested in that?
Yes, okay. yes. Where is he? Can I not go where he is and play with the baby rhino?
They actually are looking for volunteers. Him and I had a conversation on Friday. We're going to meet again this Wednesday. He's doing a whole bunch of things, and he'd like to be more involved with the network too. So it's fun because we came up with a few ideas. We're going to be starting. Do you remember all right, I don't know if you did this, the ASL ice bucket challenge where you dump a bucket of ice water on yourself?
Yes, we did it as well. Yes.
We were trying to come up with ideas that could start doing something like that. And I have to be honest, he came up with some pretty creative ones. And what I mean by that is he's really attractive for a male. I'm not afraid to tell somebody if they're handsome or ugly. Like, I won't tell anybody they're ugly.
Baby.
Yeah, when you're sexy as F, you're sexy as F. Like, I think he is jacked. He takes pictures with his like surfboard and all that, and he's just huge, like muscles. Well, we came up with a creative idea, and we're going to see who would like to get involved with it. So cold showers are an essential thing. Like, it actually is very good for your health, your mental health, all these different things. So we were going to have a time where, let's say 8 a.m., you jump in your shower, you'd have a bathing suit on or something to cover you up a little bit, and you do a cold shower, an ice cold shower for 30 seconds to start your day. And then you tag us in social media and we post it. People like me, they're afraid are going to show stuff, and I don't blame them because I am the guy who will angle it on my butt while I'm letting the cold water on there and all that, and let you all enjoy my. I'm bootylicious.
Booty, baby.
Right? I'll be twerking, and you guys will be like, "Oh no, not in the shower, not in the shower, Brandon." But it's going to be one of those where we're trying to figure out how we can connect things to really bring awareness of what's going on different levels. So. That's what our network is about. It's about loving yourself, but we're giving back to others. And that's what that cold shower is. It's taking care of you in a silly way to show love for others. So a couple different things we're working on. Oh, look at that big bottle of water. Ilse is really taking this like sober October, like seriously. Do you want it's it's vodka. I'm really not in Africa.
In South Africa. I'm just joking. It's water.
I was like, I know it's water, but I appreciate you. Do you know what mine is?
Vodka, whiskey.
I'm not drinking. It's actually vegan hot chocolate.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Mm-hmm. Now,
nice?
I'm not usually a vegan like that, but like I had to get this and try it just to see how it would taste. It's good. It's really good. So, all right, Elsa. I have a feeling Brett's about to interrupt us and make me do 12 more push-ups, 10 more push-ups.
Push-ups, 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 push-ups.
All right. Here we go. 10 more.
We're going to count them. 1.
Go ahead.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woohoo! And each thing.
You were a little ahead of me. I was like going up on 10 and I'm like, there we go. Whew, I got it. All right. 30 push-ups in, only 90 more to go. And then I did my share of the bet. Other than Jaybird. So, Ilse, what are we up to this week? What do you have on your schedule? What are you going to do that brings positivity to people? What are you going to do today that might influence somebody else?
I've done enough. I'm tired. I've been awake much longer than you guys, so I'm sorry. After the show, you're not getting anything from me, but tomorrow.
I don't know about that. After the show, I get nothing from you. You're done for the day?
Okay, maybe another half an hour I can squeeze out. But
you and you were doing a lot on LinkedIn this morning. You've been sharing things. I know you are doing a lot during the night. When I'm asleep, she's working, and when she's asleep, I'm working. And that's what's been helpful for us. Is Ilse starting to pay a lot of businesses up with. Like she's doing a lot, and she's really leaning into what she can do with this company. And I've been grateful to have Ilse step into a role and help herself to try to make some more money too, because it helps me with a little bit more. I have Brett Gordon, who is an amazing human being that literally. He might be an Oompa Loompa at times, but guess what? Oh yeah, buddy, connect with me. Just a quick question. Absolutely, you could connect on Brandon Croucher. Ilse, go ahead. She never puts her last name on, but
Pieterse.
Like that's see, that's why even the computer can't spell it right.
Delight Cafe, and you'll find me.
Delight's Digital Cafe on linked at Tinder.
Well, that can also work. Swipe left. Is it swipe right? I think I had Tinder, so I don't know. Which way do you swipe to agree? Is it left?
Oh, that was real. Oh my God, that was funny. Connect with us on LinkedIn at Brandon Croucher. You could find my name there. I don't remember what my profile picture is, but it's me. Ilse, she's in a big red chair, and she's like all like, I'm the queen. Yeah, Queen La Ilse. And perfect, Dave. We'll make sure to connect today. And then garden gnomes need love too. Just in case you didn't know. Don't get me started on midgets, man. Like I feel like we're going to end up having a little person watch the show once and be like, you guys are mean. Like, you guys pick on midgets. I shot that porno and I did not.
I am a midget, so it doesn't
I know.
count.
Like,
Exactly.
doesn't it?
I am a little person.
Wait, how tall are you? Do you qualify?
5'2".
You don't qualify. You have to be right under 5 foot. Brett qualifies as a little person. Brett gave me a thumbs up middle finger. I love it. Hello. Yeah, it's Eminem. Let me turn this up right now. Hello, Miss Jane. Hello to all my delightful friends. Hello, Miss Jane. So for Mental Health Monday, because our guest is going to be here in a few, and I know Brett's going to be chiming in for more push-ups in a few, and I'm already sweating. I can feel sweat going down my back, and I haven't really been working out. Oh, Dave, you're in here too. Boom. Love it, bro. Love it. I love it. So with Mental Health Monday, today I wanted to talk about being able to self-love. And I thought it was funny because I mentioned this over the weekend to somebody and they laughed at me. They're like, that sounds so dirty. And I'm like, that just shows you're a pervert. Let's
but that
take
also
this.
falls under self-love.
But it triggers a chemical in your brain that actually tells you that, like, ooh, I feel better about myself right that second. But then that dopamine levels drop because you've just done yourself. Oh my God! Panda! Is it Bra Appreciation Day? Actually, Bra Appreciation Day is on Wednesday. This week, Wednesday, we have International No Bra Day. I believe it's this Wednesday. I'm almost positive it is. But, I'll have to double check after the show. But International No Bra Day. The reason I'm doing push-ups is I bet the audience my football team would win this weekend, and every point different that the Browns won by, I would do 22 push-ups in honor of veterans for 22 veterans a day committing suicide. I unfortunately lost, so that means I have to do the push-ups, but we only lost by 5. I have to do 110 push-ups. I still have 90 to go. Wait, no, 80 to go. I just did the other 10. Math doesn't work when I do push-ups. But Panda, we haven't seen you in a while. I love you. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello. Stay with us for a while. CK, I'm only 5'2", Ilse. So what we lack in size, we make up for in character.
I'm telling you. Exactly.
What?
Personality.
Panda's in the hospital. Panda, I hope you're okay. We are sending you positive vibes. Sending you. Did I see Twitch? We are on Twitch as well. Yes, sir. Give us a follow. We are on Twitch. We are on everything. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of it.
We're everywhere.
I love Dave. He's like, I got you guys.
You cannot get rid of us. We will find you.
You will find us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apparently, we're on Tinder. I know we have an OnlyFans for me. It's Care Bear. OnlyFans Care Bear Brandon. Yeah. Apparently, I have an OnlyFans, but find us. And on Tinder, apparently it's Delight's Cafe. Don't know what that means for people when they match you on Tinder, but you know.
Get free coffee?
They get, yeah. So back to what we were saying, self-love and all that. Panda, I want to send you some love because you're going through a lot right now. If you've been in the hospital, we want to send you absolutely the best of stuff. Look, even Jane's like, Panda, I got you. You're in the Delight crew. Hashtag Delight. Delight D. Give me the D. That's all I got.
Back from O to D to self-love. Yeah. All over the show today.
Bad bacterial infection in my leg. Been here for 3 weeks. It's almost over. We were literally just talking about you last week after the show, saying how we missed you. There's a few people that have disappeared for a little bit, and to find out this is where you were, I'm glad we were at least sending you good vibes during that. So Panda, love you. Appreciate you. You are amazing. Oh my God, Right and Wrongs podcast. And just like that, the show went from PG-13 to X. You know how we are, Right and Wrongs podcast. You don't know how fast it's going to go that way with us. We
can't help it.
Match us on Tinder. Find out how dirty we really get. That's why I've started doing my push-ups. If I'm going to be on Tinder, I need to make sure I look like the part, you know?
If you're gonna make videos of cold showers.
Yeah, I know. I should be doing squats too.
Arms, baby.
I get my squats in so I have a good butt for when we do the cold showers, you know? That's what we're doing. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But I love what Jane says here. She says, back in the 80s, there was a research study that showed a woman who did not wear bra and their breasts did not sag as much as wearing a bra. So, Jane, I love that you mentioned that. So we actually interviewed the doctor that wrote the study about that. Him and his wife were from the 80s. They started doing this. He's going to be back this Wednesday. And the whole focus of that one is to focus on being able to explain what the significance is of the bra and why, if women go bra free since 83, I like how I can make that rhyme. If you go bra free, yeah, do what I can. But if women are going bra free, they actually perk up. They actually have better health benefits. It actually makes their confidence even feel stronger. And don't get me wrong.
Oh, it's J Radio. Dave,
it's Dave. I know.
Dave?
It's Dave.
You are amazing. He just goes in everywhere on every platform. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Do you know who that is?
That is Lena. That is, is it Brett's cousin that lives in Switzerland?
I love it. Yes. Ready? Here's the next one.
Sarah.
Good morning, Bob Seymour. Everybody's coming in. And they're
wrong podcast as well. Hi.
I know. I've heard that's why bracelets are becoming so popular.
Braless.
Braless. I was like, I put a C there. Dyslexia. Give me a break. But braless. And actually, yes, you are 100% right. Ilse has gone at this week is 4 weeks. How are you feeling before Bob asks how the ladies are doing? Don't do jumping jacks to show us.
I actually went to my meeting on Saturday just with a tank top, and then I have this crochet top that's from a designer here in South Africa. She crochets it. Stunning pieces, but in any case, so I wore that, but I also went without a bra, and I thought if I'm going to do this, I'm going to feel uncomfortable, and I actually didn't. So my confidence has grown a lot. Everything is just more positive than negative. There's no negatives in doing this. Sorry, a dyslexic writing and a dyslexic reading. What possibly could go wrong? Yeah,
who knows? And then Mike Herzog. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. Mike, actually, this week's very busy. So we have the Braless Wednesday, International No Bra Day. We want everybody to wonder of women.
Even you, Brett, don't wear a bra.
I didn't see that coming in any way. I love it. Two dyslexics cancel each other out. I like it. Very true, Panda. Thank you. But like Lena lives in Sweden and is I like how Brett adds that. So like Lena lives in Sweden and she watches. We have everybody all over. But this weekend, Miss Nelson has a gala. She has her nonprofit gala. And two wrongs don't make a right, but two dyslexics make a left.
Or one left.
Or what's left. And then we have, Brett's bringing stuff in. Oh! Because I called him an Oompa Loompa. Well played, Mr. Gordon. Well played.
When you guzzle down sweets.
I'm pulling that out before we get warned. We only get a couple seconds of these things.
Ban us.
They remove the video from YouTube if you play a song too long. That's why Bob's intro I have to cut short, for real. Like they literally take it off of it. Three dyslexics makes the world brighter. It does.
How many dyslexics does it take to run a morning show?
Apparently 3. The girls are looking good, sweetheart. I love it. It's been right. Like it's been 29 seconds. You will be safe. All right. Thank you. I'm glad I have someone counting because I wasn't. I appreciate that. But like this weekend, Sarah has her nonprofit.
Push-ups. That's what it was for. Push-ups, push-ups, push-ups.
Oh,
Oh, was
shit.
that the sign?
That was my sign. All right, Brett. Ilse, explain to people while I'm doing 10 more push-ups.
The Browns lost. I'm so sorry. By 10 points? 5
5.
points. 5 points. So 22 push-ups for every point, which makes it 110. But we've split it up. And I get a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. Okay, but in any case, we split it up. So it's 10 push-ups every 12 minutes. Woo! Nice go. That looks exactly like you.
How did I know you were going to say that? So now the guest is going to be here in the next 15 minutes, and I've been doing push-ups. That's all this doctor needs with coming onto a show that's got this much energy and walking into somebody who's sweating profusely, and all of a sudden every 12 minutes somebody's going to pop in and say, Brandon, and I have to do 10 more push-ups. I hope he understands, but I read his bio. Seems like an amazing doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, like I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a good interview. Now that I got my 10 push-ups done, I'm down to 60 left, guys. I'm feeling it. But on Friday, Sarah has her gala, and it is all fancy dress people, and they bid on auction items and a whole bunch of fun things. And then Saturday, Mr. Herzog is putting on an improv show with his team, and I'm going to be the guy helping at the front door, checking people in. So right? Like, I'm super excited. This week is going to be fun. Have a lot going on this week. We're going to be bouncing off the walls a lot this week, like usual. But you know what? It's all worth it. It's going to be so good. Ilse, do you want to tell us a little about our guest today? That way people know why they want to tune in and stay for another,
I read the bio. I'm going to read the bio.
You read the bio because I need to drink some water before I start sweating more.
Okay, so this bio is impressive. Let me just start with that.
Right.
We are interviewing our special guest, Dr. Larry Waldman. Dr. Waldman is recently semi-retired licensed clinical forensic psychologist in Phoenix, Arizona. He conducted a highly successful private practice of 45 years working with children, teens, parents, couples, and adults in a solution-focused manner. He also consulted with family, personal injury, immigration, and estate planning attorneys. He's BS?
Bachelor's in Science.
Bachelor's in Science. I almost said okay, Bachelor's
Bullshit.
in Science. I know what BS stands for. His BS in Education Psychology was from the University of Wisconsin. His MS, what's MS for? Masters?
Good job. Keep going.
Masters in School Psychology was at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. His PhD in Educational School Psychology was earned at Arizona State University, and his diplomate was received in 2003. Waldman was the past president of the Maricopa Psychological Society and director of psychological services for Charter Psychiatric Hospital of Glendale, and was an official guide, top expert on parenting for selfgrowth.com. He continues as a medical consultant for the Social Security Office in Phoenix, an adjunct graduate professor in counseling, and serves on the professional advisory board of Stepping Stones of Hope, a charitable organization serving children who have lost a parent. Waldman is the co-chair of the Early Career Psychologists Committee with the Arizona Psychological Association. He is also certified by the American Council on Exercise as a senior fitness specialist. Gee, that is so much accomplishment. I'm not even halfway yet, people. This is such a mouthful. In addition to numerous articles which have been published in the local Phoenix media and in the national press, Waldman has thus far written 7 books. Who is Raising Whom? Coping with Your Adolescent. How Come I Love Him But Can't Live With Him? The graduate course you never had, 2nd edition. Too Busy Earning a Living to Make Your Fortune. overcoming your negotiaphobia, negotiating through your life, and love your child more than you hate your ex. I want to read that book.
I love how you cough twice to emphasize it too. You're like, everybody.
Dr. Waldman trained as a public speaker. His signature presentations are The Business of Private Practice, the graduate course you never had, and Teaching Parents to Parent. He has made over 150 paid presentations in his career to attorneys, chiropractors, psychologists, family therapists, counselors, social workers, school psychologists, and school counselors. To the community, Waldman speaks on parenting, marriage, stress, depression and anxiety, wellness, grandparenting, and psychotherapy. He also is a seasoned podcast guest. His seminars are organized, practical, and entertaining, offering edutainment. I like that.
I like the ending. I love the ending. So do you want to know something? He and I actually have a little bit of a connection. He has his master's from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which is in the same realm, same platform, the schools that compete versus each other as Cleveland State University, which I graduated with my master's from. So technically, we are like against each other. It'd be like Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that way you have a reference on this. So we're going to be going back and forth, I think, just, old schools. I don't think he's going to care. I just know that I have mine hanging behind me with pride, and he's got like a PhD, he's a doctor, he's got all these special things. I'm just sitting here going,
I'm not high school.
Ilse, I think you're an amazing one. What doesn't this guy do? Right? Panda, I felt the same way. Like, what doesn't this guy do? And then my favorite was right before that. I haven't even read 7 books probably, and he's written more books than me.
Even me.
Right? Like, I meant my favorite was up here, because Panda's in the hospital. Oh, God. Another doctor? Well played, Panda. Well played. Cleveland Browns versus the Green Bay Packers. That's Christmas Day, so that way everybody knows what day to watch the Cleveland Browns play the Green Bay Packers. Thanks for throwing that out there, Brett. I don't know if you know that. Oh, Shauna Jones. Good morning. It is so good to see you, sweetie. We are grateful you're here. So, Ilse, I'm going to do... Brett, how can I do my next set of push-ups? That way when the doctor comes in, I'm not distracting right away. How close am I? He's going to give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. So, Ilse, while we're going and interviewing the doctor, some of the things I want to talk about with him is what's going on with this depression. What's going on with all right, I see it. Thank you. What is going on with this? Everything going on, the confusion, because mental health is so essential nowadays, and it's being talked about more, but is it really being seen in that light that we need to be doing? Because there's anxiety from politics, there's anxiety from family, there's anger with things such as the shot, and we don't need to go down what people are going anger with, but with all these extra things. Yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact, I saw on TikTok that in Britain or in England, help me if I'm wrong, I do not know if all the facts on TikTok is correct, but that they've stopped vaccination passports.
I don't know that.
Required anymore. I'll do some research, but I saw that on TikTok this morning.
I do not know. All I know is there's people who go both sides. No matter what your opinion is, the anxiety of the other side not doing it, what you feel is right, is why people are being triggered. So it doesn't matter whether you're pro or anti-vaccine. It's that anxiety that of your own thought going out there. And it depends on the notion of state. Correct. I agree. And my thing is, having these conversations are essential. That's why we start the morning with positive thoughts, positive ways of going. Having a doctor on that's written more books than all of us combined have read is going to be a good thing, because we're all going to learn stuff together, and we're going to learn how to put our best selves forwards. And before Brett comes on and yells at me, I'm going to drop down and do my next set of 10 push-ups. So Wales needs vaccine passports for clubs, but not pubs. The United States has issues
Dolphins need.
Yeah, what is it? All right, 10 more. Here we go. Go ahead, Elsa. Tell everybody about something.
Stone Daisies podcast might not air tonight. I'll let you guys know. It will air tomorrow. We've had some hiccups during the weekend. Some technical problems to get it downloaded and everything, but we're working on that. Our jingle is out there. And we are not chasing, we're attracting. I have had 2 local artists in one day message me that they want to be on our podcast because people talked to them and told them that they were on our podcast. So bands are starting to reach out by themselves to be on the podcast. So we already have 4 bands booked. For the next 3 weeks, next 4 weeks, we've got every Wednesday, we've got a different band or artist or whatever coming on for Stone Daisies. And then we'll be finalizing our merch and everything. So you guys must look out for our episode. It was so awesome.
So you can buy a pint, but you can't take a whale to dinner. Well played, Jaybird. That was a good one. So this week, have a lot going on. We have a lot of fun. So Ilse, you saw my diamond dots. One of the questions that we threw, that Tony and I threw at each other, the rhino guy.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours do you think that's going to take me to do? I said 50, just so people have an idea of what we're looking at and how I'm thinking. Because I will TikTok this if I have to show the difference on time and all that, but I'm already about 8 hours in, and it's not, you can see I'm doing something, but if there was nothing behind it, you would not know what it is.
I think it will take you about 35 hours. I think if you sit down and you take the time to do it and you concentrate and you just not put your focus there, I think it will go faster. Especially when it gets more, because now you have to look for the numbers, but as soon as more of them are filled and less spaces to go, it will go faster. You can do it.
And you can do it. All right, hold on. I've got this. Let me pull this in. I'm being asked to show it one more time. Everybody, you could throw a guess in here. It is honestly about 50,000 pieces. Little tiny diamond dots. Like, you see how small those are. Don't worry, I got videos. This is me going up from the side. You could see how small they are with my camera. Coming around, and this is going to be the picture that it's going to look like at the end. You could see the spots that, like the orange and some of the light blues I've already done. I moved it all around so you could see.
But
and then
that's
if you see,
you chose a very complicated picture. That's not easy to do, or painting, or.
And then this is how small.
It's very complicated. Not complicated.
No, it's complicated. It is complicated. Trust me. I literally did not, when I bought it, it was in the clearance bin next to all the kids stuff. So I thought, oh, they're making this one so kids can do it. It's on clearance. I'm going to save some money. Brandon's happy with himself. And then I open it up and I'm sitting with my friend and we look at it and she goes, why did you do this to yourself? And I go, because I like a challenge. So I've learned my lesson and I'm going to take my time. So that will take me about 3 days, about 15 hours. Whew. So 3 days, 72 and 15 hours, 72 plus 15. That's a lot. I said 50 hours. I forget exactly. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, and I'm keeping a tab right next to it for what times I go on and all this. I'm going to be videoing parts of it, so that way, like, all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm going to speed it up, and it's like...
Yeah, I did it in 5 minutes.
Right? 45 hours all the way down into 5 minutes. Like, good Lord, my body would be moving fast. But yeah, Brandon also wears polka dots when he's doing his art. I do. I bought a shirt just for this because I didn't want to get dirty or anything, and I wanted to look the best and match my shirt, or match my art. I do them all the time. I'm working on 2 right now. Shauna, wow. I want to see what you're working on. So do me a favor. Email me your pictures, and I want to see what they are. Brandon at Delight Cafe. That's how easy it is to email me. Brandon at Delight Cafe. Email me your pictures. I want to see how they're going, and I'd love to see what you're working on too. All right, Elsa, I hope you're ready.
I also did one. I can go fetch it and show you.
Go fetch it, because I'm going to play our sponsor is going to be here playing right now their commercial. We'll be right back with Dr. Waldman.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram, lab-tested, all-natural, water-soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
And we're back. Hello, Dr. Waldman.
Hello, hi. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here today, sir. You are your accreditations are astonishing. You've done so many things. I don't even know where to start asking you questions. So let's start with, tell us a little about yourself and how you've been able to keep yourself going in such great directions.
Well, thank you. Well, this has been over a period of nearly a half century, of course. Actually, as you know, I was born and raised in Wisconsin and got my undergrad and master's degree in Wisconsin, as you know. But then my wife and I moved to Phoenix in 1973, where I started working as a school psychologist and also at the same time completed my doctoral program. So I'm in a quandary when the Arizona Cardinals play the Packers, you understand. So at that point, it's, either way, I win or lose as it may be, and so on. So at any rate, I started my private practice and left Scottsdale schools in 1978. And in that practice, I initially began seeing children and families and parents and so on. But then over time, it significantly expanded. I did a lot of work for the Charter Psychiatric Corporation from the mid-'80s to the late '90s and so on, where I actually represented them, speaking for them across the country, which was a great time for me, and so on. And then due to managed care, when the Charter Corporation folded, basically, I then moved into the forensic arena, or that's a fancy word for the legal arena, where I did a lot of work in the family law arena or area, personal injury, and then that spread to working with other attorneys as well, and so on. Plus, I've always been interested in writing. My first book was in 1984, which there's been a second edition in 2000. But the first book was Who's Raising Whom, in which I try to help parents understand why their kids are misbehaving and what they're doing in response to that. Briefly, I point out that many times parents are doing the opposite of what it is they need to be doing. If we recognize that children want more than anything else, at least up through age 10 or so, their parents' attention, I ask parents, when do they get that attention? And what most parents ultimately realize is they're providing most of their attention, that valuable commodity, when their children misbehave rather than when they behave appropriately. So we actually have it backwards, if you will. And so what I try to help parents do is become more systematic in how they deal with their children. In other words, parent a little more scientifically, if you will. The second book, Coping with Your Adolescent, was a couple of years later and follows the same kind of notion, but now, of course, we're dealing with teens. So we have to allow them to make more of their own decisions, even if they're wrong sometimes. I let my two sons fail quite a bit because, and then we would process that later, like, well, what did you learn from this? And so on. And I'm proud to say that both of them are doing very well. One's a litigation attorney, married with our oldest grandson who's 6, which we're enjoying. And my other son is a school psychologist / school special ed administrator, also married well, and with twins, 3-year-old twins that are just a blast. So here again, I'm now going through the childhood development piece and so forth, which of course I love a lot. And my wife and I FaceTime with the kids a lot and read to them and so on. Let's see, early 90s was the marriage manual, if you will. How come I love him but can't live with him? And by the way, many of these titles I stole from my patients. Because in a session, I remember I had a very frustrated mother, just shout out, "Who's raising who here?" That isn't grammatically correct, but it was close enough. It's who's raising whom, of course. But and of course, I took that one, and then one parent, as I began to describe to them that with a teenager, you have to kind of allow, as I said, the teen to learn from some of their own decisions, and so on. The parent said, "So I guess what I hear you saying is you're telling me I can't make my kid change, but maybe I need to learn how to cope with it instead." And hence that title, Coping with Your Adolescent. And then I've had a number of frustrated housewives say, "I love him, but I just sometimes can't live with him." Mid-90s or late 90s, I don't remember exactly. Another book that I'm very proud of is the one, Too Busy Earning a Living to Make Your Fortune, because I met so many people who told me just that they hated their job, they saw it as a dead end, they didn't know what to do, they didn't know where to go, and when I asked them, "Well, what is it you'd like to do?" they'd say, that's just a dream, I'll never get there anyhow. And so hence, they're too busy, just making a living to not make their fortune, and so on. And I've helped a number of people realize their goals and ambitions and so on. The next book is the book that I wrote for mental health providers, entitled The Graduate Course That You Never Had. And that was to help them develop and manage a successful private practice as I did. Truthfully, I'd say many mental health providers are struggling, particularly if they're dealing with an insurance-based practice. You won't believe what insurance will pay a doctoral level experienced psychologist. I mean, we're talking about $60, $70 a session, perhaps, if the insurance is good, and that's the other issue. Dealing with these insurance companies is always a chore and so on. So it's tough to make. Someone might say, well, $60, $70 really sounds like a good living. Well, remember, attorneys make 5, sometimes 10 times that an hour, and they sometimes complain. But when you have to pay all your overhead, by the time what you have left is relatively little. I also speak around the country to mental health providers and mental health associations on this topic. Next came Overcoming Your Negotiaphobia, that I did with a good friend of mine and colleague. He's a business analyst, and we talked about in that book the amount of negotiation that goes on in one's daily life, with your spouse, of course, and your kids, let's not forget, and your boss or supervisor and your fellow coworkers, and maybe your car salesman if you're going to buy a car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's some really basic components to a negotiation, if you will. The truth is that most people fail to do it because they don't want to create conflict. I can tell you how many times I've sat in a marriage session with a couple, and one of the spouses is complaining about something, and the other spouse says incredulously, I didn't know you felt that way. And I turn to the complainant and say, well, haven't you discussed it? Well, no, but he should know, or she should know. Well, not really. They're not mind readers, you understand? And so on. So people, don't share their concerns, or on the other hand, if they share their concern, they're screaming and yelling. And hence, of course, the partner is simply tuning it out. They're not listening to it anyhow. As I said in the bio that my mother would be very proud of, I've written a number of articles, and several of them have to do with how to constructively argue with your partner. I think that's the cornerstone to a healthy relationship. The divorce rate in the U.S. Is one of the highest in the world, and it hovers around 50%. And most of those, by the way, occur within the first 5 years. If you can get through the first 5 years intact, you got a good shot. There are other periods that are dangerous, like when the kids leave. That's another dangerous period, because that's when typically mom says, okay, I've done my job, they're gone, I'm dumping this guy, and now I'm going to live my life. That happens a fair amount. The empty nest syndrome can be dangerous when you're getting booted out of that tree, if you will. And I believe the high divorce rate is largely due to the fact that people just can't settle their hash, if you will. And so there are all these what I call bear traps in their home, and so you can't talk about your parents, and you can't talk about money, and you can't talk about sex, and you can't talk about the kids, because if you do, there's a clash, and it ends up badly, and feelings are hurt, and basically when one partner begins to believe that nothing is going to ever change in this relationship, you are on the downslide. You're on the downhill. That's the beginning of the end. Then let's see, the latest book, well, then I did a revision of the graduate book, the second edition, during COVID, because again, there wasn't that much going on. And then I did the latest book entitled "Love Your Child More Than You Hate Your Ex." Again, based on the 15 to 20 years of work.
Ilse.
So that is the book that I want to read. I don't hate my ex, he hates me. He hates my guts. So my question is, Why did you write that book? What did you see in your practice that made you write that book? Was it parents that didn't co-parent well? Was it narcissist? What made you write this book?
Okay. Well, I did during that, and this was in the last phase of my practice. I actually retired from active practice in January of, let's see, when was it? About 4 years ago, if you will, in 2016. I still speak and write and teach and so forth, but I don't see patients any longer. So that last 15 to 20 years, I was very active in the family law arena. And I did about, close to 100 custody evaluations. And the court also began to use me as what was called a parenting coordinator. The divorce rate in Arizona is one of the highest in the country, particularly in our county. And that's largely because Arizona is a transient area. Most people in Phoenix didn't come from there. You know, like Brandon and I'm assuming you're still near, I'm just guessing, but you're near where you were raised.
Right now, yes. My goal is to move west. I want to move to Colorado/Utah, around that area. I like to hike and all that, but I can understand where you're going with that. So I'm like, my question was going to be, what are the significance of that being such a high divorce rate with all that and people moving there? Because it's a very populated state right now. It's been growing for years. I did not know that their divorce rate was that high.
It is, and that's why they're fairly innovative in what they're doing in trying to work with that. So that parenting coordinator concept evolved from Arizona and Colorado. Basically, that's where it started from, and that's where a judge who's dealing with an acrimonious, divorcing couple will actually assign a parenting coordinator, or if you will, a coach, to work with this couple, where the couple have to go through this parenting coordinator before either one of them can file a motion with the court following the final divorce decree. And of course, I saw lots of conflicted couples in that time. And I would tell my couples from the first 10 minutes I met with them that my overriding concern was not them, but their kids. What was in the best interests of their kids? And that's what guided me. Any conflict that arose, I was constantly focusing on, all right, how would this affect the kids? What is in the best interests of them, and so on. It was difficult work, but again, rewarding. Now, I'm not going to tell you I was successful in every case, because you're not in that kind of situation. But I believe I helped at least a good 2/3 of them anyhow, particularly with the kids. So from that, of course, and what the data shows, that about 20 to 25% of divorcing couples today, unfortunately, remain conflicted and angry and vengeful. And when that happens, of course, the poor kids get caught in the crosshairs, and then they get used. Either there you go. They get used either either overtly or covertly. Sometimes parents don't even understand what they're doing is harmful to the kids. Parents oftentimes put their kids in what I call this loyalty bind, where the child is almost forced to choose between mom and dad, and And so, Brandon, it occurred to me, I'm also a senior fitness trainer. I've been training since I was 13, and I'll be 75 in 2 months.
You do not look it.
Well,
That is impressive. Let's just give it up there. That is impressive.
well, thank you. And would it be possible? Could I do some push-ups for you?
Oh my gosh, I would be honored.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
You could do them with me.
Next
How about we
week.
do them with me? The next time they come up, you and I will do 10 together. Is that fair?
Sure.
That way I'm not living up to my... I lost a bet. I bet the Browns would win. I thought so. I actually do have a question about the divorce stuff. So statistics have been showing that separate beds has actually been, when one sleep, like same room but separate beds, it actually helps couples in different ways. Like, it's not like I tried to find it really quick before the show and I couldn't find the study, but it's actually been shown that separation while staying together creates more of a conversation piece, because you're laying there in a different state. You wake up, you're not next to the person that's angry and all that. How do you feel about parents having separate beds? I mean that as in like same room, separate beds, like the old school style, not like, oh, I sleep in a separate bed 3 houses away, like nothing like that.
I sleep in a separate bed just a town away. It's still not working.
You remind me, I once worked with a couple who were really struggling, and I said to them, I think you guys need to go out to dinner. You on Friday and you on Saturday. When you mentioned it, the first line that came to my head is that my wife also suggested maybe sometime we sleep in separate beds. Her in the master bedroom and me in the guest bedroom.
In the doghouse.
But I can see some of the advantage, particularly what have also occurred to me. If one of you is a restless sleeper, or one of you snores, and so on. Sure, we have a king size bed, and so therefore there can be plenty of space. And by the way, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary.
What? Wow.
Honestly, I think you need to write a book on that. Like, because that's not a comment that came in earlier was one about how our generation is hypermobile compared to our parents. So how will that affect marriages and parenting? And I think that's a phenomenal question because, like you said, you've just made it 50 years. This year is my parents' 46th wedding anniversary. And the truth is, I've noticed that my parents, they love each other, but like there's still that, like, they've been together long enough that it's just, you have that connection with each other. And I think that today's society does not have that. They don't know the struggle. It's like, okay, there's a little bit of strife. I'll just go on a dating app and I can find some better looking, better money, better whatever. And it's become a lot faster. And that's why divorce is going up. What are your thoughts through all of that? And what could we do to change that? Sorry to change that question on you in the middle of it, but you answered like part of it. And I'm like, oh, wait, we could do this 2 ways.
No, I think it's right. I mean, this fast-paced world that we're in now, I mean, it's, when I look back, I mean, the world has changed markedly in those 50 years. And of course, you have to adapt to it or struggle. I think it's also a matter of developing similar interests. Interesting. I mean, my wife and I just had this discussion. We were looking at something, and we both talked about what would our lives be like, if we hadn't married each other, and we talked, and my wife said, I clearly would not be in the shape that I was in, because when I first met her, I'd been working already and very active, and she not. We take bike trips together frequently, and she's, by the way, just 6 months younger than I In fact, we're about to take a trip to Oregon to visit our son and daughter-in-law and grand twins. But in between, we're going to do what is called a Rails Trails trip. This is an organization called Rails to Trails, and I'm glad to promote it. It's been around now about 25 years, where they buy up defunct railroad lines and make them into a trail, for hiking and biking and so on. And they're wonderful. Most of these defunct railroad lines, follow rivers and forests and so on, and they're safe. So we're going to do a rails trail in Oregon, about 18 miles out, stay overnight, and then come back, and so on. So she said, yeah, I would, I'm not, she wouldn't be in the shape that she is, and she's in great shape, again, for our age, although whatever. Truthfully, I can do anything now when I was half my age than I can now. And frankly, so in fact, she can do more than she did when she was half her age. The other thing, of course, is travel. We travel a lot. COVID has been tough on us, and I'm not complaining. Compared to most, it's a cakewalk. But obviously, it has stopped us from traveling. Fortunately, due to my career and my wife, she was a fourth grade teacher for 30 years. We now take at least 2 large, usually international trips a year, and have been doing it for the last 15 or 20. So we've been lots of places, and we love to do that. And she said, I wouldn't have traveled also. And then it was my turn, and I said, well, my wife is extremely social, extremely social. She's got a social network that can't be beat. And I said, well, if I had married you and so on, I'd probably be living in a cave somewhere. And talking to the chipmunks or something. So she's made me much more of a social being and so on. So yeah, and so we have our interests together. We travel, we work out together. We're also interested, in the arts and things like that. And of course, we're very much connected with our grandchildren. And we spend lots of time reading to them and seeing them and spending time with them. And now our kids are at the point where they trust us, to have them even alone. It's like, where did you guys come from? Did you fall off a truck or something? But it's ironic. If I do write a new book, actually, the book I am contemplating is grandparenting in the new age. That's one I am considering.
There's a reason I'm so thankful that you said that, because I come from a family or family-in-law that my mother-in-law always had something to do with how I raise my kids and the fights and everything. So I have a question. Do you find that grandparents have a huge effect in raising kids? And how can parents cope with overbearing grandparents? How do you set boundaries with grandparents that just out there to make your life miserable?
Well, you've just touched on 2 of the books that I've written. The How Come I Love Them and Can't Live With Them one, and the Negotiophobia, if you will. The 3 major reasons why marriages tend to fail are money, sex, and in-laws. In fact, I like to joke that therefore, if God forbid I should ever find myself single, I would look for a wealthy, orphaned nymphomaniac, but nevertheless. So in-laws can be a significant factor in marriage. They can be a wonderful adjunct, and we are very fortunate that our in-laws, if you will, are wonderful. Both the parents of my daughters-in-law are nice couples, and we get along with them and so on. That's important. But and of course, and when we of my parents and my wife's parents, only my mom is still alive. She's going to turn 97 in a month, and so on. So I guess the longevity gene maybe is in her and maybe in me. We'll see. But like I'd like to think that that my wife Nan and I are a significant positive impact, have a significant positive impact, on our daughters-in-law. We babysit, we do things for them, we're good with the kids. I mean, come on, you've got a psychologist and a fourth grade teacher. I mean, how and we try not to be overbearing. In fact, I like to joke that whenever I spend time visiting my kids, I always come home with a sore mouth. That's from biting my tongue so much, you see. Oh, here we go. Oh, he looks older than me.
All right, Doc, I'm dropping you. I'm ready with you. You ready?
Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Whoa! You made me go fast.
Well done! Woo!
Thank you, Doc, for doing those with me.
Can't we do 20 next time?
You know what? Let's do it.
Oh, we'll do it next time.
Deal. I got you. There's going to be another one before the end of the show.
Well, see, you're going to knock off your bet even sooner.
I love it. I love it. That's the goal. I actually, right before we did that, I actually wanted to ask a question. The Right and Wrongs podcast asked, sorry for asking all these questions. Don't ever apologize, guys. That's what we're here for, and we want to make sure. With hypermobility, is there any suggestions he has for people that date others from other cultures and nations to look out for?
Well, like in any relationship, that's forming. Frankly, you have to do a good job of vetting your prospective partner. And also, I'll get back to the in-law thing as soon as we finish.
I'm sorry, that was my fault. The push-ups throw my brain off.
I'll get back to you. I want to finish that. But this is important too. And I can't tell you how many young couples, or not even young so much sometimes, how many couples that I worked with, and in taking their history, and asking, how it is they met, and etc. And therapeutically, by the way, it's a good thing to talk about the early stage of a marriage, because that's usually when they are in their infatuation phase, if you will, and they still liked each other. So it's helpful when you're doing marital work, to get them to talk about at least the time when they did like each other, and so on. But often in that discussion, what I would hear is, well, we were introduced, or we met at a club, or we met at a bar, and so on, and we had a date. Nevertheless, the bottom line is they're in the sack within the first 2 weeks or so. And they move in together, within 2 months, if you will. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that I heard that kind of scenario. And the problem with that is you're in this infatuation phase, and the sex has never been better, and so on, and so on. I mean, new sex, come on, those endorphins are rushing, you feel great. And the problem is as that happens, you start having blinders. Well, he drinks a little bit too much, and he's gambling a lot, and his mother, oh my God, she is really obtrusive, and she says crazy things and so on, but he really is good and bad, you see. So what happens is, and I see it all the time, this infatuation and the sex and so forth begins to cloud your judgment. And so there you are, you rush, you're at the altar, you get married and so on. And of course, if, depending, but that infatuation phase lasts, if you're lucky, I was going to say about 18 months at best. After that, yeah, okay. Now we get down to the real nitty gritty, if you will. I saw someone say that. We get down to the real nitty gritty, and now what makes a relationship? It's not just the sex. One of the articles, by the way, everything I'm referring to is on my website, so if you want to get to the articles, you can. topphoenixpsychologist.com. One of my articles is what I call forming our relationships backwards, and what I talk about is this pyramid, if you will, that in my view forms the foundation for a healthy relationship. And that is at the bottom, the base of the pyramid. We have similar values and morals, and so on. Then come in similar interests. Okay, that I believe is extremely important too. It can't always be two ships passing in the night. Then of course good communication, which can be trained, by the way. And then finally on the top, the cherry on the top, if you will, is passion. That helps too. It really does. Okay. So in my view, that's the nature of a healthy relationship. Unfortunately, the way I see many people forming their relationships is they reverse it. The pyramid's like this. It starts with passion and we work up from there. Well, no. Is it any wonder this pyramid falls over? There's no base. And so, I don't believe that the culture per se is such an important issue. Who is this person? What is he or she like? We have to vet this person. I would tell young person coming in saying, well, I met this guy or gal and so forth, and one of the first things I'd say is, what is their credit rating? They go, what? What are you talking about? Wait a minute. A credit rating, tells you a lot about a person. How they manage their money, how organized they are, and so forth. Remember what I said? Money, sex, and in-laws. Okay, that's one of those big three there, and so on. So that's important to take a look at. And when you go to that person's house and so forth, and you see the family, functioning, how does it work? Is the mother in the kitchen and the father, elsewhere, not playing any role in this? Because guess what? Most of us, parent the way we were parented and marry the way we were married. Because what else do we know? I like this. I like to make my patients laugh if I can, because it always helps and so forth. And I've said on a few occasions, the other day my wife suggested a new position, and I said, and that evening I was standing at the sink washing dishes, and she was lying on the couch and watching TV. And of course it gets a laugh, but it makes a point though as well, because again, we get into these roles, and like I said, see what this other person's family is like. Listen to what they say about their mom and dad and so on. So frankly, yes, okay, obviously, dealing with cultural differences adds another element, to work out and so on. But it's more, I think it's more the person than the culture. Now, back to your point about in-laws. So, as I see it, in-laws have this, if they're doing it right, this fine line to walk. That they want to be helpful and so on, but they don't want to be intrusive. But sometimes, some in-laws, step over the line. Particularly, by the way, usually the parents of the bride rather than the groom. Which, by the way, is also a factor when it comes to divorce. Now, being the parents of two sons who are married, and again, I've been in this situation professionally a lot. When a divorce occurs, particularly an ugly one, and that happens about, like I said, 20 to 25% of the time of divorce. The grandparents of the father usually suffer because typically the father, typically, of course, it's sometimes it's joint shared custody, of course, and sometimes even the father gets custody. But in the majority of cases, mother has most of the custody, and many times the anger toward the father also extends to his parents as well. And so what ends up happening is that the paternal grandparents lose a lot of time with their grandkids. I testified in court, now this is back probably 8-10 years ago now, a couple of years before I retired actively, in representing a couple where I think the little girl was 8 or so, and so on. And I mean, the little girl and grandma, paternal grandma, were extremely close. She slept over there almost every other weekend. She and grandma went shopping. They did things together. They swam laps together. I mean, they were very, very tight. Unfortunately, the divorce occurred and so on, and the angry mother restricted father from having the daughter go and spend time with the grandparents, and actually it became a court case, and I testified in front of the judge to what I had seen and what I knew and so forth, and the court did provide some mandated visitation for the grandparents. But back to the negotiation piece. If you think that an in-law is too obtrusive, you, not your spouse, not the child of the parent, have to have that conversation. But it has to be appropriate and considerate, and essentially say, look, and you can even say, Mom, Dad, I know you care and I know you want to be helpful, and I appreciate that and so on. But you coming over Sunday morning, without notice, frankly, obstructs our privacy. And I'd like if you would. My mom used to work out to him. I would appreciate if you at least give us notice before you came over, or come over a little later on a Sunday as opposed to 8 in the morning. Maybe we could have lunch together or something like that.
So your whole story that you have just told resonates so much with me, because 3 years ago I decided to divorce my husband. And I have gone through trials and tribulations with my mother-in-law and my ex-husband just making life difficult for me and keeping me away from my daughter. And we also had to go for parenting classes. And so my question is actually for myself: how do I get over this? How do I move on and try and not get upset when they do things like that, like keeping my daughter away from me, or making me look bad, or making my ex-husband actually opened a rape case against my against my son on my daughter to try and get so that I cannot go close to her. So that was about a case for about a year that I had to fight that and get my parental rights back and everything. But how do I get over that? How do the parent that this is being done to get over that backstabbing, if I can call it that?
Can I ask that the same thing, but I'm going to put a little twist on it? It's the significant other is I didn't have kids with my ex-wife or my ex-fiance, but like the animosity from the mother-in-law to be or mother-in-law was stemmed very deep, and it created more of an anger in them towards me, even though they knew what their mom was saying wasn't correct. With that seems to be a trend, and then Ilse and I are more empathetic and we connect with people, and I think that's why it affects us differently. So her question being a mom with her ex-husband to the mother-in-law instilling their values into their kids, it's how does that other person cope to be able to know they're doing their best? And I'm ready to do my push-ups when you are.
Well, we'll do that, then we'll get to it. All right, we doing 20 now? All right.
I'm going to do it with you because now I feel I'm done.
All right, here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right. All right, here we go.
Look at that, doctor! You are in great shape. Like
flex was.
Well, yeah, it's. Just wait till I'm 80. Then you'll be.
I love it. Honestly, you are an inspiration with that. Like so with that, it kind of goes. My question I wrote was conflict. This is conflict, and why do so many people? They either run for it's the fight or flight mentality, and they run from it, or they look to go just do it so they can intimidate. How do we respond with that? And now I'll be quiet.
Are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer?
Things up.
You know, I used to coach my patients a lot on that. You know, because what I would see in my practice is people trying to change things in other people about which they had no control. Right? I mean, typical examples. Wife wanting to get their husband to stop drinking. Okay? Husband trying to get wife to stop smoking. Mother trying to get her teenage son to study, get better grades. And those are I must have had a couple of hundred cases like that, and so on. And the point that you know, so they're coming in to see me, a stranger. You know, and the other person of concern, you know, is not going to come in because, as far as they're concerned, they don't have a problem. It's, you know, it's the patient's problem, and so on. So I'm not seeing the actual person, if you will. And so, you know, think about it, how, you know, almost crazy it is. You know, so the patient's coming in to see a stranger to get another person who's not there to change. Okay. ain't gonna happen. Okay, so does that mean then, okay, therapy's done, goodbye, one session and we're through? No, because what sometimes we have to do is ask the question, is this something that I can impact? Is this something that I have some control over? Some things can be fixed. Get a flat tire, you call AAA, or if you want, fix it yourself. Because you have control of that, and so on. Some things sometimes so we can fix some things. Sometimes we need to leave certain things, if you will. If your partner is being physically abusive, then we have to leave the scene. You can't stay there. If a boss is being abusive or inappropriate, you probably need to get out of there, and so on. So we can either fix it, leave it, but in some cases, of course, we can't do either. We realize we can't fix it. We realize we can't leave it, per se, particularly if it involves our family members. So that leaves us one other option, and that's to accept it. It's called acceptance, okay? And it's a conscious thing, but it's very important. Like I said, my wife and I have been married, 50 years, and I love her, and she's wonderful, and she's a great woman, a great, mom, a great nana, as we're called. I'm Papa, she's Nana. And so on. But early on in our marriage, I must have said, if you take it out, put it back. If you take it out, put it back. If you take it out, put it back. Well, after 50 times back decades ago, I realized it ain't gonna happen. So my option then is, okay. So I can always tell what we're having for dinner if my wife cooks it. Many times I do. But I can tell what we're having before I ever see the dinner because all the implements are still on the sink. Okay, I've come to accept that. Okay, do I like it? No. But is it worth bringing up and having an ugly discussion about it again? No. Okay. And so on. So then that's the point, is that that's what a lot of times what we have to do. And a funny thing happens. It really is interesting. I can't tell you how many times I've had the kind of case I described, and I sell the patient on acceptance, and then when I see them maybe 2 weeks later, they come back and say, I've done exactly what you said, and it seems to me like things are getting better, without complaining about it, if you will, you see. So what that means then, is that you're in this relationship, and sometimes by not complaining about it, and so forth, we take the heat off, and it settles. In doing behavior therapy, which I won't get into, but I did it a lot. One of the first steps that I would often have clients do is to take a baseline. And that is to, let's say a parent is coming in and they're complaining about their incorrigible child, using a big garbage can term, as I used to call it. And we narrow it down to, okay, what would you like the kid to do? Not what he shouldn't do. What would you like him to do? Okay, that's another thing that parents focus on. We focus on what we don't like instead of focusing on what we want. Okay, so they'd say, well, I'd like Billy to play nicely with his sister, instead of yelling or hitting and so on. I said, okay, so why don't you let's take a baseline and see how many times that occurs over the next week. So we know where we're starting from. Now, to the client, that seems like, okay, we're just starting some measurements, okay? But in fact, it's a treatment. Why? Because what am I telling the parent to do? Nothing. And amazingly, and I swear, it's happened 100 times in my practice, they come back and say, the problem isn't as bad as I thought it was. Now that I've done this baseline, okay? Well, okay, Ilse, the situation you're in, of course, is difficult, but it sounds to me like you're powerless. You're not in charge of a lot of what's going on. Okay, so by being angry or whatever you're doing in return, all that's doing is sending signals to them that, frankly, it's working.
I've actually accepted the fact, and I've been in the acceptance. I still get pissed off. I do not act on it. So I still get upset when they do things like that. But I've realized that that's the kind of people they are. They're never going to change, and she's not going to stay 6 forever. She's going to grow up. She's going to see how it goes, and she will know, because I've got 2 other children as well, and she sees what kind of mother I am to them, and she knows what kind of mother I am to her. So it's just a matter of time before she knows how to deal with this on her own as well, because right now she's being kept away from me as well. So
can you send her cards?
I can talk to her on the phone and everything. I just have I can see her only every second week, because I had to eventually, with the divorce, because I was fighting for 2.5 years, and I eventually just said, I can't do this anymore. I can't fight. If you want full custody, take full custody. I just want my rights to see my daughter. Don't take that away. And that is what we settled upon.
Sure. But you're obviously having some contact with her, and make that as as positive as possible. But you can send her cards. You can send her nice messages, and of course, it sends the signal that you're open and caring. And you made a very important point that I made to a lot of my clients too. I mean, I remember I had a case. The kid was 14 going on 15, and this father was about to embark on a huge custody evaluation. Now, having done many, I knew what this was about. First off, this was going to take the better part of a year or more, and secondly, it was probably going to cost, with attorney's fees and so forth, the better part of $50,000. And I said to him, by the time all this is said and done, this kid's going to be what, 14, 15, just about. Okay? And if the judge agrees with you, then yes, you might get more time, and more decision-making authority, and so on. But is it worth it? Why not put that 50 grand in a college fund or something like that? Do your best to deal with the situation. And when the kid turns 18, he can make his own choice, if you will. So think about it. That you're not thinking, parents are short-sighted. We're not thinking about what's going on the next year or two. We want to think about, what about the relationship I'm going to have with my kid from the time he's 18 until I die? We're talking now decades. So that's what we want to focus on. And Ilse, I've heard you say this term a couple times now, that gets you upset. Okay? Getting upset, frankly, I think shortens our lives. When we are upset, it's not that simple. In fact, there's tons of research now that tells us that when we are upset, when we're angry, this fight-flight syndrome kicks in, and they have documented, believe it or not, dozens of psychobiological reactions that occur in us that are not healthy. People who carry grudges, and so forth, are not, I had a professor who said people who carry grudges is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies.
That is so true. That is so true.
Right.
Dr.
So,
Wald,
yes, go ahead.
sorry to cut you short. We are a bit short on time. Will you please come back? Because I think there's a lot of people that deal with this, that deal with divorces and narcissistic co-parenting and all that. And I think that you can help a lot of them. Will you please come back to us and come on the show again?
Well, I'd be
Please,
glad to, sure.
please. Okay, and
Thank
then
you.
how we end off every episode, I just want to say thank you so much for all the information that you've given me and all our viewers. How we end up at the end of the show is we always give a positive message to our viewers. So I'll let Brandon go first because he's in a bit of a hurry. He's got a business call. Then I'll go and then you can go and then I'll show you how to switch off the Afrikaans, English, how to end off the show. There we go. Sorry, I had a tongue twister there.
Sure.
Honestly, Dr. Waldman, thank you very much for joining us today. You didn't just provide knowledge, you provided facts, and then jumping in to do push-ups with us. I honestly thank you for being not just an example, but literally jumping on there and doing it with us. You show leadership in such a great way. I actually didn't even get to any of my questions that I really wanted to ask about how you raise your kids to your grandkids a little bit differently. Do you notice things your kids are doing? So I had a whole bunch, but this just means I have to have you back and we bring you back into the cafe and have another conversation. As Ilse said, this is how we end the show. It's positive, motivational comments, quotes, whatever you want it to be. I'll go really quick. Guys, it's been a great day. I am honored that I got to not only meet Dr. Waldman, I already went to his website, looked at a few books, and I'm deciding which one I'm going to purchase because I really want to read more and dive into this because this is such a big thing, and conflict is involved in everyone's life, whether it's marriage, kids, or even just dealing with someone like Brett running the show in the back. It's one of these things where there's always going to be conflict and stress. At the end of the day, for your mental health, for your emotional health, and for your own well-being, you have to know who you are. Take a moment to look inside you, love you, and put that energy into the world, and stop letting everybody else blow out that light that is you.
Thank you, Mr. Brandon. It's my turn. Dr. Waldman, thank you so much for the advice, for helping me and our viewers. I just have to say you're going to have a busy Monday, guys, because my Monday was busy, and I hope you guys are busy the whole day and only magic happens. So today's card is Ponder Your Purpose. And it says, we all are here for a purpose. Meditate on your mission, then use your gifts and talents to live your life on purpose. In doing so, you will become an unending magnet for miracles. Go fetch your miracles, guys. Have a nice Monday.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I enjoyed it, so on. As you know, I think we have to be cognizant of our own mental health. So often we talk about what's going on from the neck down, and we don't consider what's happening within our head. Clearly, we have to be kind to ourselves and good to ourselves, because if we're not being good to ourselves, we can't be good to anyone else. Thank you for your time.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, guys. Please go like, share, subscribe on all channels. Share our links. Share. Please, let's get this message out there. You guys must have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Again, Dr. Waldman, thank you so much for joining us. Have an amazing Monday, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Mr. Brett? You're leaving me to hang here.